Welcome back, this is ghostmalone here, covering a set from ADV Revival 3. We've got a great matchup between two certified yappers in the ADV content creator space. On the challenger side, we've got Tetrafolium, who just hit 1,000 subs on his YouTube channel, which is very well deserved for all his long form rambles and detailed PowerPoints. But he's got his work cut out for him, because he's facing a very strong trainer in fellow yapper Evakiyama. She also has her own YouTube channel featuring more BKC style rambles about different Pokemon sets and niches in the metagame, which I find great for learning. I would still say go bug her to upload or something, because the streets have been waiting for her comeback. Anyway, I'm really excited to cover this match, so let's start with game one. Actually gonna put this on normal, and let's begin. We've got Tar versus Tar, usually expecting both to switch, but Tetra opts to Focus Punch as a Scarm switches in. This looks like BKC Tar damage. What does Eva opt for? Getting the spike up, but Scarm's going to be really low, and Tar is just obligated to click Focus Punch again and again and again, and what comes in? A Swampert. Okay. Taking 40%, maybe not fully defensive, as Tetra switches into Starmie, which eats up a Hydro Pump, but it probably won't want to stay in on a Earthquake. What does it opt for? Spin, Recover, Surf? Okay. Possibly suggesting defensive Starmie from Tetra. Going for the Recover. I don't know about that, because Swampert can just loop you here, right? To just constantly Earthquake over and over and over. Tetra's obligated to switch. Going into Skarmory. Does he go for a Spike here? On a presumed Gengar or Zapdos? He Thieves! That's huge. That means Gengar is going to take sand damage every single turn, and now it looks like a Big 5 or El Clasico team is not going to be able to play the long game versus Starmie and Blissey, double natural cure. Oof. Blissey opts for an Ice Beam, which isn't highly valuable into Tar. This is probably a free Focus Punch from Evakiyama's Tar at this point. As Tetra switches into Claydol. Doesn't take too much damage, but it's not going to like an HP bug, probably taking on average 55 if I had to guess. It trades for Earthquake. Oof, 57. Yeah, Claydol's rather low. I mean, surely you go into Gengar, or okay, you go to Skarm as Eva. Oof. That's a rough turn, because now you lose momentum as Eva. As she goes into her own Tar, and yeah, this is rough. Eva has to switch into a Zapdos. It's looking like oof, that is a rough crit. It's looking like El Clasico or Big 5 Zap. Okay, it's Big 5 Zap. So then, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't just go with Blissey here, even if it's gonna cause Starmie to switch in the short term because you're faking Thunderbolt. Yeah, revealing Fire Blast, that sucks to miss. Ooh. And Tetra gets his layer back up. That's rough. Yeah, Evakiyama is especially on the back foot right now. I think this game is heavily favored in Tetra's favor. No burn on Tar or Skarmory, which means this is a free Focus Punch, right? On Pert, this is probably going to take another 40%. A critical hit! Oh, that's rough. This game is basically over for Evakiyama, depending on what's last for Tetra. I wouldn't expect Arrow, even though I know a double spinner team with HP Fighting Arrow. I think this might be Metagross, probably, if I had to guess. Which just cleans up in the end game, and you certainly don't have the means of breaking Blissey if Tar is traded here. Yeah, this game is basically over. We don't expect Gengar to have a self-destruct with, I believe, Will-O-Wisp Taunt. Yeah, Willow Explosion isn't really super common. We want the damage to stick with Taunt to prevent soft boils and such. So yeah, we're just gonna let this game play out. I think well played by Tetra overall. Did get pretty lucky though, and he is apologizing in the chat, which is a sign of great sportsmanship from his end. But I think we're gonna see how Eva bounces back, or if Tetra manages to close out in game 2. Ice Beam crit and freeze. Yeah, okay. You better hope you don't get lucky in the next game, Tetra, because this is excessive. This is a lot. Surely you just switch out here as Tetra. I mean, Blissey could thaw out here, and then you kind of just wasted time. Yeah, thawed out, soft boil. I mean, is your last like a Zapdos or something? Like, I don't know. You surely have a physical attacker to abuse the spikes. Sing Blissey. Okay. That is a great tech by Tetra, who is slower, so this is a guaranteed sleep turn into Metagross, right? So this is the freest Meteor Mash, right? I mean, no point clicking Boom here. And another come on, Tetra. Yeah, GG, sorry for the hacks, yeah. What can you do? Anyway, well, let's see how Game 2 goes. Alright. Game 2 between these two gamers. Swampert lead, Zapdos into Registeel as Zapdos subs. I'll pause just for a little bit. Normally when we see Swampert, we might expect a Fortress or some offense. In this case, seeing Swampert and Registeel suggests that the Swampert is a little bit offensive, so I'm probably predicting some kind of mixed offense team by Evakiyama. Sub Zapdos is suggesting maybe an offense team from Tetra. We don't know if this is like a Focus Punch or Special Offense or, you know, just some kind of offense team, you know, leaning. So let's see. This is a free Seismic Toss by Registeel, but it thuds into a Gengar, so this is highly likely a special offense as she goes into Tyranitar, who eats a Will-O-Wisp. Ooh, this is rough. Is it a Pursuitar, though? What kind of Tyranitar are we dealing with here? Yep, it is a Pursuitar eating a Thunderbolt. Not long for the world, though. What do you do as Tetra? Do you kind of go hard Dug? It's an offensive Gar, so it's not going to live that Pursuit. That's rough. You go into Metagross. What kind of special offense is this? Is this like a variant of like the CM Pass? That Swampert doesn't have leftovers. Is it Endeavor? Is it Salic? It is Salic. Okay. As he goes into his Gengar, which will have died to Sand anyway, and confirms the kill with a Dugtrio above 360 speed. But Eva counter traps with the Breloom, basically saying you need to have something submit to this Spore. He decides to sleep sack his Metagross. Surely this is a switch to Zapdos, right? Eating a Focus Punch. 50%, that is huge chip. Probably a Registeel switch predicted. Oh no, it's not. She decides to go for the Sky Uppercut, and that confirms a kill onto the Zapdos. Tetra's down 4-5. As he goes into a Suicune with Ice Beam. But Eva has this Registeel. Subs on potential Seismic Toss or T-Wave. This is not a max HP Suicune. Why do you have Substitute on it? Oh no, Tetra. That's rough. That is unlucky. If not an oversight in the builder to not have a max HP Suicune for 404 HP to have the 101 subs. Switches into Breloom on Surf, but dies to Sand afterwards. What does Eva have in the back? Probably Starmie. Okay, I was thinking maybe Zapdos or Zard. Okay, T-Bolt confirms the kill as Tetra unleashes the Raikou. Probably have to go hard Registeel here, right? As he CMs up, I would just start attacking as Tetra. You need a pair or something before you start subbing, because she's just gonna click Seismic Toss over and over and over. You just took free damage, right? Ooh. 44, right? Yeah, if you attacked as Raikou, you would have just removed the... You would have removed Steel eventually. Or at least could have fished more for Paras. And yeah, this game is looking over with a Slept Metagross and just a Dug versus the world. And a highly likely flyer as Eva's last. Yeah, this game is basically over and confirmed for Eva. So, wonder what both gamers are going to opt for in Game 3. Tetra went for a Spikes approach in Game 1, an offense in the second. Yeah, this, boom. Okay, hold on now. Starmie? I wonder what Eva's going to go for here. Okay, is it Rock Slide meta then? Oh, no. Yeah. This game is pretty much all but confirmed for Eva as Doug picks up the kill. And yeah, it's a Salamence. Yeah, this is a GG. But yeah, as we go into Game 3, just thinking about the matchups brought, we had Spikes versus Spikes, kind of a more defensive build with Double Spinner from Tetra into a kind of Big 5 Zap. Game 2, we had a mixed offense versus a special offense. And now Game 3, I wonder if any of the gamers go back to a style that they showed earlier, or if they opt for something unrevealed yet that is up their wheelhouse. So let's go into game 3 and see what they do for this deciding match. Zapdos versus Blissey. Immediately, this matchup is probably stall versus, we don't know. Zapdos lead could suggest offense. It could suggest Superman if it's Spadef. We'll see from damage rolls, but let's see what these gamers decide to go for. Skarm, okay, nothing revealed yet. As Blissey Seismic tosses, probably a trade of spikes as Blissey goes for another Seismic toss. I wonder why Tetra's opting for this trade. Jirachi, this is probably Superman then if I had to guess. We'll see. Probably a fire, okay, Wish. As he goes, she'll go into Skarm eventually. Opting to trade for the Rapid Spin for a Toxic. I wonder if Tetra has Refresh or Aroma on his Blissey. Fire Punch on the Skarm as he opts to trade for the Spikes, which again, if this is a Superman team, only really the Jirachi and if there's another grounded Pokemon will suffer from that. As he switches into Claydol, which is going to take Peanuts from the Fire Punch. Does he have Refresh on this Claydol? Earthquake, yeah, that's not going to do any type of damage to this. Looks to be Fizdef leaning, or maybe it's a low attack investment Claydol. And Skarmory coming in on Fire Punches. This Jirachi is just going to outlast you in the long game. I think if you're Tetra, maybe you should stall with Blissey more. Going into your other two Pokemon is just chipping them for whatever is in the back, which if it's some kind of Superman, we might expect Moltres or Aerodactyl in the back, or even some kind of Gengar that will just wreak havoc. And Eva gets a crucial Wish onto Skarm and another layer. This long game is not exactly favored for Eva. It seems like she's opting to trade for 3 spikes on an inevitable Claydol Gengar interaction. I don't see why you would go for the second spike here unless you're just trying to go for that. Okay, Aromatherapy, removing the toxic status on Claydol as Blissey picks up her own toxic. Ice Beam Fish is fair in this setting. You are playing a long game. You can always spin these off with Claydol. You probably have Rest if you have Aroma, if I had to guess. As it passes a Wish onto the Skarm, and if we pause here, it's been 20 turns, and so far the Tetris team has taken a decent amount of chip and revealed a good amount of its moveset. Evakiyama's team, healthy Zapdos, healthy Skarm, healthy Jirachi. I mean, at this point, we're just trying to PP stall for an end game, and so I'm expecting a fairly long one, probably in the 100 range turns. As Tetra sends his own Skarm to chip heal up and go for a trade of spikes. Not sure how much I like this because there's a very high likelihood that there's a Gengar Flygon and some other flyer in the back. Oh, Dugtrio. You hate to see Dugtrio. I think you should always attack if you're facing Skarm in this setting, because what value is Dugtrio here? As you Seismic Toss. If Dugtrio is your only means of dealing with Jirachi, I recognize. Oh, it's a Drill Peck Skarm. I can see that. That makes sense. As Blissey trades a Seismic Toss, but it's going to be chipped over and over and over, and this is probably a free Gengar turn or Protect. Okay, Gengar, right? To confirm the spin block, right? And now Tetra's fallen on the back end. Oh, Hypnosis Gar just eats a crap ton of damage. I think you have to Boomer Switch. Yeah, you have to, as Eva. As you go into, into Milotic. This isn't really favored for Tetra here. Even if Surf is free, the Spadef Zapdos is taking Peanuts from it. And this is just free opportunities to roar and inevitably trip this Dugtrio. As you go into Claydol, yeah, this Zapdos cannot touch Dugtrio from the looks of it. It's probably Rest, Roar, maybe Sleep Talk Toxic, if I had to guess. As this last move. Hold on, I need to go back, sorry. Tetra trades Spikes for Toxic, which Skarm still has plenty of Spike PP, so this interaction, I'm not sure how favorable it is for Tetra, as Skarmory will be able to layer up again and receive a Wish Pass or Chip Heal from Jirachi and Lefties respectively. Now, I wonder if Tetra goes Dug here. No. If anything, Tetra would have had to go Doug on turn 40, which is a hard call to make, but you need to anticipate the Skarmory switching into Jirachi for the Wish Pass. And I think that would have been the turn. Sometimes, even on stall teams or defensive teams, we need to think about playing aggressively, as other defensive teams will want to loop us, as Eva's doing with Toxic, Fire Punch, Protect, Spikes, and then kind of managing that damage across all of the Pokemon, especially in the context of a Sandless game. This is just such a free interaction for Eva overall. Could have died from a potential Surf crit, but receives the Wish and is overall healthy as a Skarmory as she establishes a third layer of Spikes. And now this is a scenario that Tetra does not want to find himself into, because 3 Spikes up and a Claydol that is Toxic. I'm not sure how favorable it is. I mean, Gengar can't really switch in, but Skarm can just bully Claydol forever and eventually expend all of the Aromatherapy PP from Blissey. Nice spin block by Eva. Tetra is definitely falling behind as she confirms the kill with Boom, and Spikes are up forever on Tetra's side. Eva sends in Skarm to receive a little bit of chip healing, as Tetra opts for Milotic. She'll switch into Zapdos. We'll probably rest here if I had to guess anything on the anticipated Blissey. Correct. Gosh, this is rough. Superman is definitely a hard matchup for this kind of V5 style team from Tetra, as he picks up an Ice Beam crit. So Zapdos has one more turn. Sleep Talk doesn't get a Roar. Oh man, yeah, if Sand was up, this would have been huge for Tetra, but he's gonna loop the Zapdos into another rest for a potential Suicune win con. This looks like a kind of McMegan style team. Not really great in terms of forcing progress against a Spadef Zapdos, which is built to outstall, outlast, and tank all the hits from a anticipated Boldcoon. Arrow revealed. Yeah, barring a crit, this Zapdos is pretty much in favor of dealing with the Suicune as it picks up a Roar on Sleep Talk, and now all the progress you just made as Tetra is just undone. It's looking like a very simple arrow cleanup as another Dugtrio pickup on Roar. And great discipline from Eva to stay in and Roar again, because you can live, and if not taking a lot of damage from Rock Slide, you can always pass a Wish onto Zapdos with the Jirachi. So yeah, this is kind of a very token dismantling of V5 with Superman. This is the OG, stall team, so to speak, in ADV. So definitely a shout out to all the old heads. This Zapdos can't really touch Doug outside of Roar, but that Doug is confirmed dead now that it switched due to Roar at 2%. And yeah, Eva's got this in the bag, if I had to guess, in the next maybe 30 turns or so. She's gonna outlast and phase out all the Pokemon, and then Suicune's gonna come in on Spikes too many times, and yeah, it's all but confirmed to be an arrow cleanup. Doug dies to Spikes. Blissey comes in, probably just Roar as Eva. Yeah, that's kind of a greedy Ice Beam if you're Tetra, but I definitely understand wanting to go for the odds at that point. Because if you remove the Zapdos, then there's at least some chance that you can rest loop with Suicune and get a nice kill. I doubt it's Modest Rust. Yeah, no, it's Roar. Yeah, it's not even Crocoon. So yeah, it's pretty much a confirmed win for Eva at this point, as we've stated. Milotic goes down to a T-Bolt. No Toxic on the Zap, so have to go Skarm. Toxic, Drill Peck, Pressure. Gets a lucky Freeze, which is big, but still heavily in favor for Eva. Oh man, if Tetra went for an Ice Beam here, I definitely understand because of Rachi, but Flygon definitely just cleans up here. Or at least gets Blissey low enough for Arrow to clean up. So he opts for an Ice Beam. That's fine, even with the miss. Jira comes in, Toxic, and then go into Arrow eventually, or Zapdos and just roar forever and win. We'll put this on fast since this is a fairly repetitive sequence. As Jirachi Toxics the Suicune on a switch, this will be a forced rest as Eva aggressively switches an Arab, which it is kind of a free switch, and you do live Surf, worst case scenario. You're not going to kill with 3 double edges versus a Bold Coon. So what do you do as Eva? You just roar? Yeah, that makes sense. And eventually you're going to chip Suicune low enough. And now Blissy's confirmed dead, and that's GG's. Blissey dies to Spikes, and Eva wins. Wow, that was a very close showcase between 2 really great yappers in the ADV content space. If you did enjoy watching this matchup, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to commentate other sets, but these 2 specifically are parts of the community that I really appreciate for their in-depth guides and educational resources. I love the BKC style videos, so this kind of waxes that itch for me, and yeah,